Forget everything one might thought they knew about chocolate. What if it was revealed that this favorite sweet treat was once a bitter, frothy drink used as money, and that a king drank gallons of it a day, not for pleasure, but for other reasons? This narrative extends far beyond a simple candy bar. It delves into the story of a sacred bean that fueled empires, sparked conflicts, and was once so valuable people resorted to counterfeiting it. The historical record indicates that competition for control over cacao-rich regions, such as Tabasco, even led to wars in the early 7th century, underscoring its profound economic and political significance. From ancient rituals to wartime rations, from bitter brews to melt-in-your-mouth bars, this exploration dives into the wild, surprising, and utterly delicious history of chocolate, revealing how it was invented and how its uses have evolved dramatically across millennia.
Hey everyone, welcome to The History Of, where we unwrap the surprising stories behind the everyday things you love.
The story begins not in a fancy European cafe, but deep in the rainforests of Mesoamerica over 4,000 years ago. Long before anyone conceived of adding sugar, the Olmec people, around 1900 BCE, were already cultivating the Theobroma cacao tree, a name that literally translates to the food of the gods. The earliest users did not consume the bitter beans directly. Instead, they fermented the sweet pulp into an alcoholic beverage. Subsequently, they learned to grind the beans into a frothy, spiced drink, often mixed with maize, vanilla, flowers, honey, or even ground chili peppers. This concoction was not a dessert. It served as a potent, ritualistic elixir. The Maya and Aztecs held a profound reverence for cacao, believing it to be a divine gift from their gods, such as Quetzalcoatl. It was deeply integrated into their creation myths and even formed part of marriage dowries. This initial elevated status as a divine substance contributed significantly to its perceived value. But here's a curious turn. How did a drink so sacred, so bitter, and so intrinsically tied to ancient rituals become the world's most forged currency?
The Theobroma cacao tree, though native to South America, found its most significant early cultivation in the warm, humid climates of Mesoamerica, particularly near the Pacific and Gulf coasts. The Olmecs were among the first to cultivate it around 1900 BCE, consuming their chocolate drinks from distinctive round jars known as ticomots. Following the Olmecs, the Maya utilized tall cylinder beakers, often inscribed with text indicating their use for chocolate, while the Aztecs favored richly decorated tall cups for their chocolate beverages. The preparation involved fermenting, curing, and roasting the cacao beans, which were then ground into a powder. This powder was typically mixed with hot water, creating a frothy drink. The froth itself was considered the most desirable part of the drink, often produced by vigorously whisking or pouring the liquid between vessels. The Aztecs even engaged in early forms of latte art to perfect this foamy top. The bitter taste of these early chocolate drinks could be modified by adding various ingredients such as maize, vanilla, flowers, herbs, honey, or ground chili peppers. Beyond its consumption, cacao was deeply embedded in the cultural and spiritual lives of Mesoamerican societies. The Olmecs, Maya, and Aztecs incorporated cacao into their creation mythologies, viewing it as a gift from the gods. The Mayan merchant god, Ek-Chua, was closely associated with cacao and received offerings, highlighting its economic importance. Similarly, the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl was believed to have shared cacao with mankind, and the cacao tree was revered as a conduit between heaven and earth. It was used in funerary rites, important ceremonies, and even in wedding rituals, where couples would drink a ritual cup of cacao and exchange beans. This dual nature, as both a sacred substance and a practical commodity, allowed cacao to become profoundly integrated into every facet of their lives, from divine worship to daily transactions. So esteemed was chocolate that cacao beans became a commonly traded item and a primary form of currency for the Aztecs, even demanded as tribute from conquered tribes. Imagine, money literally growing on trees. The value of these beans was well defined. One cacao bean could purchase a single tomato, while a rabbit might cost 10 to 30 beans. For more ambitious shoppers, a turkey could be acquired for 200 beans and a slave for 100 beans. In the 1570s, 200 cacao beans were even deemed equivalent to 1 Spanish real, which contained approximately 26 grams of silver. The immense value of cacao beans led to an interesting, albeit illicit, development: counterfeiting. Cacao beans were so valuable that they were either hollowed out and refilled with a substitute like sand, or even crafted entirely from painted clay to pass as currency. This practice highlights the significant economic role these beans played, demonstrating how their practical utility as currency led to human ingenuity or perhaps deceit. Emperor Montezuma II, often referred to as the Chocolate King, was rumored to consume gallons of chocolate daily, frequently from golden goblets that were discarded for a single use. This wasn't solely for taste. It was widely believed that chocolate bestowed seductive powers and increased libido. This belief in chocolate's aphrodisiac qualities, though unsubstantiated by modern science, persisted for centuries and influenced its consumption and cultural perception, adding a fascinating, light-hearted dimension to its history. From a bitter, sacred currency to a royal aphrodisiac, chocolate's journey was already quite wild. But how did this ancient ritualistic brew, so deeply tied to Mesoamerican culture, manage to cross an entire ocean and conquer Europe, transforming into something entirely new?
The year is 1519. Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés arrives in the Aztec Empire, where he encounters a bitter, frothy drink made from cacao beans. Emperor Montezuma himself consumed large quantities of this beverage, valuing it for its perceived energy-boosting and aphrodisiac qualities. Intrigued by this exotic beverage, Cortés brought cacao beans and the knowledge of their preparation back to Spain. However, Europeans, initially, were far from impressed. Girolamo Benzoni, in 1575, famously declared that it seemed more a drink for pigs. A particularly amusing anecdote involves English pirates seizing a Spanish cargo of cocoa beans in 1579. Unaware of their immense value, they mistook the beans for sheep droppings and proceeded to torch the entire lot. This initial rejection underscores a significant cultural gap in understanding and appreciation for the bitter, unsweetened Mesoamerican chocolate. However, a sweet tooth, or perhaps economic necessity, proved to be the mother of invention. The Spanish, recognizing the potential of this unique commodity, began to adapt it to European palates. They started adding cane sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon, fundamentally transforming the bitter brew into a delightful and luxurious treat. This adaptation was a critical turning point, as the sweetened version quickly gained popularity and became a symbol of wealth and status, initially among the Spanish aristocracy and clergy. This cultural adaptation, where Europeans didn't just adopt chocolate, but reinvented it to fit their tastes, laid the groundwork for its global dominance as a sweet confection. From Spain, chocolate's popularity spread rapidly across Europe. It arrived in Italy in 1606, Germany in 1641, and England in 1648. Soon, exclusive chocolate houses began to emerge, particularly in London. These establishments were far more than mere cafes. They served as elite social hubs, where the wealthy gathered to discuss politics, conduct business, and engage in social discourse. Their influence was such that King Charles II fearing they were hotbeds of sedition, even attempted to ban them, albeit unsuccessfully. The existence of these chocolate houses as platforms for intellectual and political exchange demonstrates how a new luxury commodity could inadvertently foster spaces that challenged existing power structures. Chocolate was now firmly established as a European luxury, but it remained primarily a drink, reserved for the affluent. The question then became, how did it escape the confines of these exclusive chocolate houses and become the affordable, solid treat enjoyed by millions today? The answer lies in a series of accidental breakthroughs and remarkable industrial ingenuity.
For centuries, cacao beans were laboriously ground by hand, a slow and inefficient process. However, the 18th and 19th centuries ushered in a transformative era, the Industrial Revolution. Early steam-powered machinery began to mechanize the grinding process, significantly increasing speed and efficiency. A pivotal moment occurred in 1828 with the Dutch chemist Conrad Johannes van Houten. He patented the hydraulic press, an ingenious machine that revolutionized chocolate production. This press efficiently separated chocolate liquor into cocoa butter and cocoa powder by squeezing out nearly half of the natural fat. Van Houten also introduced Dutching, a process of treating cocoa with alkaline salts. This not only reduced its bitterness, but also made it more easily mixable with liquids. These innovations were game changers, making chocolate cheaper to produce, more consistent in quality, and significantly easier to digest. Suddenly, chocolate was no longer confined to being a drink. In 1847, the British company Fry & Sons made a groundbreaking discovery. They could combine this new cocoa powder with sugar and cocoa butter to create a smooth, moldable paste. Thus, the world's first solid chocolate bar was born, marking a monumental shift in chocolate consumption. The experience was further refined by Rudolf Lindt, a Swiss chocolatier. Legend has it that in 1879, he accidentally left a mixer containing chocolate running overnight. The next morning, instead of burnt chocolate, he discovered a shiny, wonderfully aromatic mass that, crucially, melted in the mouth. This serendipitous discovery, known as the conching process, removed harsh flavors and created the velvety smooth texture that defines modern chocolate. This highlights how even in the pursuit of efficiency, some of the most impactful changes can arise from unexpected observations. The final piece of this industrial puzzle arrived in 1875 when Daniel Peter, another Swiss chocolatier, collaborated with Henri Nestlé. After years of experimentation, they successfully incorporated powdered milk into chocolate, leading to the creation of the first milk chocolate bar. These cumulative innovations, coupled with the decreased price of sugar due to increased slave labor on colonial plantations, fundamentally transformed chocolate. It transitioned from an expensive, elite beverage to an affordable, mass-produced delight, making it accessible to a much wider populace. This shift exemplifies how technological advancements can democratize a luxury item, fundamentally altering its social and economic role. However, not all chocolate was created equal, especially when it came to a very specific and rather unappetizing military request.
The story of chocolate takes an unexpected turn with military rations. In 1937, the U.S. Army commissioned Hershey's to develop a chocolate bar for soldiers. The requirements were peculiar. It needed to be high in energy, withstand extreme temperatures, and, quite humorously, taste a little better than a boiled potato to discourage soldiers from consuming their emergency rations prematurely. Soldiers famously disliked these D-ration bars, with some even dubbing them Hitler's secret weapon due to their toughness and reported digestive issues. Hershey's later developed the more palatable Tropical bar, which proved so successful it even journeyed to the moon aboard Apollo 15 in 1971. This episode illustrates how specific contexts can completely redefine a product's design and purpose, even leading to a deliberate de-optimization of taste. Chocolate's modern life, however, extends far beyond bars and military rations. It is currently experiencing a surprising resurgence in savory cuisine. While the Aztecs generally did not use chocolate in cooking, modern chefs are embracing its depth. Today, chocolate is a key ingredient in traditional Mexican mole sauce, adding complexity to chili and appearing in unexpected dishes like cocoa-rubbed short ribs, pasta marinara, and even white chocolate baba ganoush. This culinary journey from ancient savory uses to a sweet European dominance and now back to a modern savory revival demonstrates chocolate's incredible versatility and adaptability across different culinary traditions and eras. Furthermore, the ancient belief in chocolate's medicinal properties is not entirely unfounded. Modern scientific research suggests that dark chocolate, particularly due to its high concentration of cocoa flavonols, can offer various health benefits. These include improving blood flow, reducing blood pressure, and even boosting cognitive function and mood. While it may not be the cure-all once believed, it is certainly more than just a guilty pleasure. This enduring association with health, from ancient panacea to modern functional food, highlights humanity's continuous quest for wellness. Chocolate is deeply embedded in contemporary culture. It has inspired accidental culinary inventions, such as the chocolate chip cookie in 1930. It has also captivated literary giants, with authors like Roald Dahl, known for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and C.S. Lewis, who found comfort in it, incorporating it into their works. Chocolate plays a central role in holidays like Halloween, Easter, and Valentine's Day, often given as gifts. Interestingly, studies have even suggested that the scent of chocolate can reduce stress. Today, the global chocolate market is a colossal multi-billion-dollar industry, projected to reach over $170 billion by 2030. Europe remains a dominant force in both production and consumption, with Switzerland leading the world in per capita consumption, where the average person consumes a remarkable 11 kilograms or 22 pounds of chocolate annually. Even with its rich history and continuous innovation, chocolate continues to spark debate. In 2010, the European Union's High Court ruled that there is no such thing as pure chocolate, mandating that labels must specify if vegetable fats are used in addition to cocoa butter. This legal ruling demonstrates that chocolate's inherent complexity continues to surprise even in the courtroom, reflecting ongoing discussions about authenticity and consumer expectations in the modern market. From a bitter, sacred currency in ancient Mesoamerica to a luxurious European indulgence, and finally, to the mass-produced, melt-in-your-mouth treat enjoyed globally today, chocolate's journey is truly extraordinary. It was not merely invented, it was continually reinvented by various cultures, driven by ritual, social status, economic necessity, and even accidental genius. Its history mirrors broader human narratives, encompassing themes of trade, colonization, industrialization, and evolving cultural values. This remarkable substance fueled armies, inspired artists, and even sparked legal battles. Its evolution serves as a powerful lens through which to view human ingenuity, desire, conflict, and adaptation across millennia. So next time one bites into that sweet, smooth bar, remember, they are not just enjoying a treat. They are tasting over 4,000 years of surprising, lighthearted, and utterly fascinating history. What other everyday item might hold a hidden history this wild?
If this exploration of chocolate's surprising history was enjoyed, one should make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more historical deep dives, and share in the comments what is their favorite surprising chocolate fact. The next video awaits.